Acne is an almost normative human experience, and yet we've been taught to fight it with everything we've got.
Hey.
Acne treatment is now an industry in and of itself, a multi-billion-dollar one at that. And today we're inundated with treatment options ranging from the bizarre to the dangerous. At what point does the cure become worse than the condition? Before we get into the fun stuff, we gotta go over some of the gross details to understand what's actually going on with acne. Your body naturally produces a waxy, oily substance known as sebum, which moisturizes and protects your skin. Acne can occur when your pores get clogged, perhaps by dead skin cells, which traps the sebum under the skin. This trapped sebum turns out to be a breeding ground for bacteria. As this bacteria gets out of control, white blood cells come in to fight them off, creating inflammation and acne as we know it.
Well, you're dealing with a white blood cell here.
But ultimately, it's not a super serious health problem. The main concern here is usually scarring. 85% of us get acne at some point in our lives, including the legendary King Tut himself. I'm just saying, if even ancient god kings struggled with this, you're in good company if you do too. None of this is to minimize the psychological trauma that can accompany breakouts. I was only ever the girl to get a few pimples at a time, but it was enough to turn me into a makeup artist to mask all of my unwanted friends, a microsurgeon excavating my face with those 10 times zoom mirrors.
Pores are huge.
And willing to put all kinds of crap on my skin to try and make it go away.
I can feel my body detoxifying.
All of that was tough enough to deal with, and I know that many people struggle with much worse cases. But as we explore treatments, it's important to keep in mind that for the most part, these are prescribed for psychological reasons, not because acne itself poses a major risk to your body. These treatments tend to center around clearing or preventing clogged pores. Sometimes this is as simple as keeping your pillowcases and phone clean, changing up your hair products, and in general, keeping your skin grime-free. You might try products containing something like salicylic acid, which dissolves skin debris while reducing inflammation, or tea tree oil or honey, which both have antimicrobial properties. But often this isn't enough, and we have to go deeper. See, acne isn't just a surface level thing. Sometimes cleansers and creams can't penetrate the skin deep enough to actually reach the problem site. Not to mention, a major contributor to acne is hormonal changes, which is why you see it happening more during times like puberty, pregnancy, menopause, and menstruation.
It was clear which side of the equation I was on.
Are you even up there?
Hormonal imbalance can lead to increased sebum production and inflammation, which equals worse blemishes.
Oh, honey, you need to do something about that.
Really, acne can be a full body problem which requires a full body solution. This is why dermatologists often prescribe things like oral antibiotics or birth control with effects that extend far beyond just the skin on your face. Another common prescription for severe cases is isotretinoin.
Isotretinoin.
Another common prescription for severe cases is isotretinoin, or something like that, which used to sell under the name Accutane. This drug goes after all the main acne culprits all at once: oil production, clogged pores, bacteria, and inflammation. We're now at the point where we can also use lasers to remove the top layer of acne scars and promote healing. These treatments can be amazingly effective and have helped countless people achieve the clear skin they thought was out of reach. Unfortunately, they're not without their downsides. Of course, many of the ways we address mild acne is pretty low risk. A small dose of tea tree oil is probably not going to hurt you, and salicylic acid might irritate your skin or cause an allergic reaction, but if you don't overdo it, it's probably going to be fine. A bigger risk is going totally off script with unverified skin remedies. Things like lemon, cinnamon, and garlic cloves are being used to treat acne, and as Very Well Health put it, are simply not skin safe and can irritate your face, which is kind of the exact opposite of what we're going for. Apparently urine is also being used, and some people swear by it. And there might be reasons it could actually work, but so far the research probably isn't showing enough to convince most people. In general, there are all sorts of ways to make things worse when you venture out on your own with do-it-yourself or over-the-counter options. Cleansing too much or exfoliating too harshly can actually make acne worse, and many skincare products can also make everything worse. You can of course look for products with all the right ingredients and none of the damaging ones with that handy dandy non-comedogenic label that is supposed to ensure the product doesn't clog your pores. Unfortunately, this isn't as easy as it sounds. We're told again and again to use non-comedogenic products, but the thing is there's no real standards when it comes to using that label in the States, so you don't always know what you're getting. This is why expert opinions are so important. A good dermatologist or another medical practitioner that you trust can help you safely navigate this world and find something that works for your situation. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Your acne might be caused by something totally different than that beauty influencer you follow, and your skin might react differently to whatever your friends are using. Having that personalized discussion with someone who knows what's what can be invaluable. That said, we still have to be cautious. Ultimately, our health is our own personal responsibility, and it's up to you to make sure prescribed treatments are the right path for your needs, because this is where things start getting a little more questionable. If your skin isn't responding to the low-key treatments, your dermatologist may just prescribe something a little more heavy duty, and that can come with risks. Here's the thing, with full body kinds of treatments, they sort of affect the entire body. Once you start taking something like oral antibiotics, it's not just a skin reaction you've got to worry about, but what those drugs are doing to your entire system. It's no secret that not all bacteria is bad. It's like the new hip thing to talk about your gut biome and make sure you feed it with all the kombucha and kimchi and whatnot. Even the stuff that overgrows in your sebum is there for a reason. In healthy levels, it's critical in maintaining skin homeostasis and protects you from harmful organisms. The thing with antibiotics is that they don't just go after the bad stuff, but end up killing a lot of good bacteria too. This can affect everything from digestion to immune function and throw whole systems out of whack. Birth control also isn't without risks. We tend to forget this because it's such a ubiquitous treatment that can make many conditions so much better, at least in the short term. But some doctors warn of potential long-term effects. We could do a whole video on this, but one of the worries here is that by artificially balancing hormones short term, we actually end up disrupting our body's ability to balance things naturally, which can have a cascade of unwanted effects over time. Arguably, the scariest of these treatments is isotretinoin, which literally has suicide listed as one of the potential side effects on WebMD. Seizures, stroke, and gastrointestinal diseases are also fun possibilities with this one. Granted, these aren't the most common reactions, but there's a reason why this is only prescribed in severe cases. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against taking medications when you need it, and if your doctor gives you a prescription, it's because they believe the benefits outweigh the risks, and that may well be true for you. My beef here is that we're not always given the full story. Remember that by and large, acne isn't a severe health condition. We address it largely for aesthetic purposes, and yes, this can of course have a profound impact on our psychological well-being, and I don't want to undermine that. Anything that affects the mind will affect our physical health as well. But when a doctor hands you a prescription, it's easy to assume that it's just healthy. End of story. They don't always explain that in some ways we're actually trading body health for aesthetics. Maybe that's the right trade for you, but I think you need to know that you're making it. One thing to keep in mind when considering this trade is that conventional treatments don't necessarily address root causes. A doctor who prescribes birth control to balance out your hormones might not be asking why you're out of balance in the first place. Meanwhile, there could be something that your body is trying to tell you that you're not hearing. While acne itself usually isn't a serious concern, it can be a visible manifestation of something else going on in your body. Gut imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, food sensitivities, and endocrine disorders could be possible culprits, just to name a few. It may be worth finding a doctor who addresses your health more holistically and finds out what's really going on before coming up with a treatment plan. Remember that skincare isn't just surface level. What you eat and do in a day can have a profound impact on your skin's health. More and more doctors are talking about how diet in particular can play a role. There's still not widespread consensus on just exactly what the best anti-acne diet is or how much diet plays a role, but so far it's looking like refined sugars, processed foods, dairy products, and allergens might make matters worse, while things like fibrous, anti-inflammatory foods rich in antioxidants and omega-3s could help. Think colorful fruits and vegetables, fermented foods, nuts, seeds, green tea, and all of those other things that we all know are good for us, but maybe don't work into our diet enough. It might not sound like much, but we've found dramatic stories of people completely reversing severe acne by experimenting with diet and lifestyle. We can't guarantee the same results for everyone. We're all individuals who react very differently to our food. But it might not hurt just to see what happens if you go off dairy for a month or two, even just a couple of weeks, or to experiment with other common allergens. It might make a big difference. Things like consciously de-stressing, staying hydrated, exercising, getting outside, and gently washing your face with a mild cleanser twice a day can also help prevent breakouts. It takes a bit of work to make some of these changes a habit, but the benefits go far beyond clear skin, and I believe it's worth it. And while we're at it, why not add some positive self-talk towards that reflection we see every day in the mirror? Who knows, that might make a difference too.
I see pride. Can't hear you. I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off of nobody. Once again!
Whatever path you take, I want to take a moment to address the stigma surrounding acne. It honestly breaks my heart to know that there are so many beautiful people unable to see their beauty because of some imperfections. There's nothing wrong with trying to look your best, but something just doesn't feel right when people feel like they'll try anything, maybe urine, spend thousands, or throw their bodies out of whack just to get rid of some pimples. The reality is there's no shame in having acne. You could have it for a host of reasons: chronic illness, genetics, a pregnancy, or just washing your face overzealously. And there shouldn't be anything embarrassing about these things. So by all means, take care of yourself, see a specialist, stay healthy in a way that works for you, and in the meantime, try to have some compassion for yourself and others for just being human. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you got something out of this video, consider liking and subscribing. Also, please let us know your experiences. Ultimately, we're here to support y'all by trying to make helpful videos, and knowing your take is gonna help us make future videos. It's ultimately your support and engagement that keeps us going, so thanks again for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one.